Good evening. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Poonam Burde. A little after 7 p.m. yesterday, there was complete chaos in Nagpur in Maharashtra. Rumors of burning of religious content during a demonstration by right-wing groups lit a fire that gutted several homes and vehicles in the city. Two communities, two different groups clashed, prompting the police to fire tear gas and resort to lathi charge to bring the situation under control. Stones were pelted, vehicles were vandalized, they were set ablaze, even policemen were attacked. It has led to the arrest of at least 50 people so far. The police believe that information for people to gather was spread through social media. Now, cyber teams have been deployed to understand the timeline of how quick that message was circulated. All of this came to the fore after the Chief Minister of the state in the floor of the House in the Assembly said that this seems to be a pre-planned attack. The opposition in the state, however, is not convinced. For them, this was state-sponsored violence, and nothing short of Devendra Fadnavis' resignation will placate them. But why is a Mughal emperor who died more than 300 years ago become a hot topic of debate, enough to rile up politicians in the state of Maharashtra, cause damage to public property, and raise concerns over people's safety? Let me take you through some of the defining moments from yesterday before we get into that and find the answers to those questions. In this first video that we show to you here on Plain Speak, watch how these two groups came face to face in the Mahal area of Nagpur. This was the exact moment where the violence began. Anticipating more violence, there were security personnel that were deployed on site there in large numbers in a bid to try and control the situation. There were reinforcements that were brought in as well. From vehicles and public property being vandalized to even a crane, a JCB that was set ablaze. There are several such videos that have been doing the rounds on social media that we've accessed for you here on CNN News 18 as well, that are testament to the kind of vandalism that came to the fore in the city of Nagpur yesterday. There was arson as mobs ran amok on the streets late last night. In no time, these clashes erupted, leading to stone pelting. Today, the Chief Minister of the state on the floor of the House said that there were trolleys and bags of stones that were recovered from this site. That stones were not only pelted at vehicles and at each other by these two groups, but policemen were also targeted. Specifically, policemen were targeted is what he said. Devendra Fadnavis said that DCP rank officers have suffered injuries, at least 3 of them during that violence. He even spoke over the phone to one of them, assuring all sort of assistance from the state government. Several houses, vehicles, a doctor's clinic was vandalized as well following the rumors of this holy book being burnt. But all it was a rumor. There were policemen that were confronting these individuals even as uncertainty loomed large. There are videos that we've accessed here on CNN News 18 where some masked and unmasked, I beg your pardon, unmasked men are seen with lathis and weapons that are charging forward on the day of what exactly the violence happened. The streets bore a completely empty look. There were charred vehicles that were lying there. These were the scenes that played out on the streets of Nagpur just after the violence broke out yesterday. But was it really a spur-of-the-moment riot, or was it pre-planned, like the Chief Minister pointed out on the floor of the House? The tensions have been simmering there for a while now, both on the streets, as we saw yesterday, and in political discourse. It all started with the release of the film Chhawa. It is a historical film that's based on the life of Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj, the second ruler of the Maratha Empire, and the subsequent war with Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb. It soon snowballed into a mega controversy. Samajwadi Party MLA and the chief of the Maharashtra unit, in fact, Abu Azmi, criticized the depiction of Aurangzeb in that film. He eulogized the Mughal emperor. He said he was an able administrator, but the kind of depiction that was shown in the film was completely off the mark. That angered many, including several ministers of the NDA government who were quick to snipe back. They even demanded action against the Samajwadi Party leader. Shortly after that, Abu Azmi was suspended from the assembly for this particular budget session. It was only yesterday when Hindu groups like the VHP and the Bajrang decided to demand the removal of Aurangzeb's tomb. They staged a massive agitation calling for that removal. They even warned of Babri-like action if the removal was not done by the state government. The Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis, reacted to that removal and that demand that was coming to the fore. He said that anybody who tries to glorify the Mughal emperor, that will not be tolerated. But the tombstone is an ASI protected monument, so we will have to follow the law as far as its removal is concerned. And the latest in a series of events, of course, were the riots that played out, the violence that played out yesterday on the streets of Nagpur. But this violence cannot be the means to meet any kinds of demands. If there's a national consensus over the fact, or at least consensus in the state of Maharashtra, that the tombstone needs to be removed, citizens do feel that that needs to be done. It's not just these Hindu groups that want that. Can it actually be done? Well, there is legal recourse, as was hinted by the state government. Ethically, legally, peacefully, there are ways to get this done. How can that be done then? The ASI, which is the Archaeological Survey of India, can delist monuments under the 1958 Act if they no longer deem it nationally important. What then happens is that it allows the central government to declare that monument to cease to be of national importance, thereby removing its protected status. There are thousands of such monuments across the country that are part of ASI protected monuments list. A gazette notification is then issued for delisting if the central government does ask the ASI, which works with the central government under the Ministry of Culture. A 2-month window is then put forth for public objections or suggestions of why or why not any monument should be removed from that particular list. After this public consultation period, the government reviews any objection or feedback. If significant opposition arises, the delisting may be reconsidered or even abandoned. If no substantial objections are raised, the process then moves forward. Once the delisting is approved, a final notification is published. The official gazette then comes out declaring that the monument is no longer of national importance. Delisting a monument effectively means that it will no longer be protected or preserved or maintained by the Archaeological Survey of India or by the respected state government. This is the legal way out, something that the state government is open to doing. Why is it then we saw the kind of violence that we did in Nagpur yesterday, and who exactly is fanning this fire? We'll open that up to our guests on Plain Speak.
अपने चेहरे ढके हुए थे, हाथ में तलवार डंडे बॉटलें थी। घर को फोड़ना, पत्थरें फेंकना, इतना पत्थरें फेंके, गाड़ियों को खींचकर जब फोड़ना चालू कर दिए हैं।
आणि मी एक गोष्ट स्पष्टपणे सांगतो, पोलिसांवर ज्यांनी हल्ला केला असेल त्यांना काय झालं तरी सोडलं जाणार नाही।
ये पूर्व नियोजित साजिश थी क्या? इसकी भी पुलिस तफ्तीश कर रही है। इसके पीछे कौन है, क्या राजनीति है, और किसी को भी छोड़ेगी नहीं, कड़ी कार्रवाई करेगी।
कभी भी ऐसी घटना होती है तो पहला रिपोर्ट सीएमओ को आता है, सीएम के मोबाइल फोन पे आता है, होम डिपार्टमेंट भी आता है, दोनों डिपार्टमेंट्स उनके साथ है। क्या उनको पता नहीं था ये होने वाला है? और जहां जहां भाजपा को शासन चलाने नहीं आता है वहां दंगे भड़काते।
ये बहुत गलत हो रहा है, सरकार की जिम्मेदारी है, ये सरकार की गलती है, इंटेलिजेंस की फेलियर है।
Let's open this up. Vishwa, spokesperson of Maharashtra BJP, is with us. Nikol Patel, leader of the Congress. Raju Wagmare, spokesperson of the Shiv Sena, and leader of the UBT Sena, CS Jha, is with us. CS Jha and Nikol Patel, I want to ask you this first. CS Jha, let's start with you. Who do you hold responsible for the violence that we saw in Nagpur yesterday?
Today also I was telling the issue of law and order in Maharashtra is very weak now. This law and order is without any control. These latches which are being done in the home department, the not having the control by the CM itself because he is having the department. So these things are raising pertinent questions about the working of Mr. Devendra Fadnavis. Second thing is that whoever it may be, whoever has done this kind of arson or this kind of riot in the area, the basic failure of the intelligence of the state comes in question. Because the failure of the intelligence comes in question as because the police is involved, the home department is involved, and eventually the CM is involved. So nobody was knowing about this kind of incident. It is without any question. I don't know how these things have happened with the kind of intelligence the Maharashtra government is having. So the thing is that the clear violation of law and order. Third thing is that very vital thing is that the persons and the culprits who are involved in this should be brought to the books. They should be charged under the UAPA Act. They should be charged under the BNS relevant portions of the BNS Act, and they should be brought to the books and they should be punished. And exemplary punishment should be given to them. They should not get the bail also. They should be tried in a manner that there is a terrorist act being done by them against the state as well as against the country. So these things are
CSJ, I'm glad you said that these culprits, even though they were last in your list, but that the culprits must be punished, because that's exactly what we've seen lacking in the responses that have come to the fore today from across the board in Maharashtra. Sure, hold the police responsible. Sure, hold the intel failure responsible. Hold the chief minister, who also is the home minister, hold them responsible. Sure. But those people who were wielding lathis and stones in their hand, why not they be the first people, Nikul Patel, to be held responsible? Why is it that we're not seeing all political parties in the state of Maharashtra come together on this issue, irrespective of which party is in power and which is not, that this is unacceptable?
See, firstly, everyone condemned the entire event that happened because it is basically related to the violence. And violence can never be tolerated, and it has been never tolerated by anyone in the country. And the history itself says that the violence had never given any fruitful outcome or fruitful results. But the history had always said that Bharatiya Janata Party always blamed that the Indian National Congress government, if it has happened in any state of Congress, then might have said that, oh, these people are responsible. This must be punished. They must resign. They must immediately do this. They are doing appeasement politics. Wait. I am coming to the point. Now it is the Maharashtra right now, and the heart of the city where they have MP, MLA, Parishad, everyone of there. And if somebody is putting everything over here, then who must be first held responsible? Definitely people who are doing it are responsible, but along with that, the local administration, police. And definitely we have seen how the entire thing has started in Maharashtra. You are having an important discussion in the Legislative Assembly about the Aurangzeb who had died 400 years back. This is what the Indian politics is leading to now.
But
Doing
Nikul
an
Patel, the
politics on
issue
a
of
person who died
Aurangzeb came
400
up
years
because
back.
one of your allies, that is the Samajwadi Party, and its leader Abu Azmi spoke about him. That's how the issue came up in the first place.
Fine, it has discussed, but it has also asked for a sorry. And the important
So if
thing
he brought it up, why shouldn't it be discussed by someone else?
In the Legislative Assembly that has led to the thought process of the people like this, and it has led to such violence. I don't understand it.
So the violence and all of that transpired, Vishwas Pathak, is because the chief minister, the NDA machinery, the state government has all been talking about it. This is state-sponsored violence, says the opposition, not because Abu Azmi started talking about how Aurangzeb was an able administrator.
Rubbish and baseless. See, this violence in Nagpur had happened in a very planned way. How come within 10 minutes or 15 minutes, lots of people are gathering, carrying swords, knives, stones, and how this stone pelting starts? And how the selective houses were attacked, how the selective cars and vehicles were attacked? This was all planned. And I am telling you, this government, under the leadership of Honorable Chief Minister Mr. Devendra Fadnavis, has controlled this riot within less than 2 hours' time. More than 80 people have been booked. Action is being taken and nobody will be spared. So this is a very organized way of crime, and this is happening in Maharashtra, especially when Mr. Devendra Fadnavis and NDA government comes in power. It can also be a matter of investigation. Just because Mr. Modi ji, Honorable Prime Minister, is coming to Maharashtra after some days, they have tried to create and attract the attention of the public. I think nobody will be spared, and I want to ask them how they belong to Aurangzeb. Who is he? If you look at the media and social media of Pakistan, even they are agreeing that the forefathers of Pakistanis and Indians are same. So we are nowhere related to Aurangzeb. Why Aurangzeb should be glorified? That is the mute question.
Sure, let's not venerate and let's not glorify Aurangzeb, but Mr. Pathak, as far as what transpired yesterday and what the Chief Minister has been saying, not just yesterday, but for the last couple of days, that we will not allow the glorification of Aurangzeb, that's something that lit the fire, is what the opposition is saying. Could they be completely off the mark? The government in the state of Maharashtra did keep talking about it for the last 1 week.
No, Abu Azmi, MLA of this opposition party, he has compared and he has claimed that Aurangzeb was the best administrator. Now, who is Aurangzeb? Aurangzeb is the same person who killed his father, who killed his brother, who killed many Hindus, who destroyed the temples and religious places of Hindus. And he should be glorified. That trigger happened when Abu Azmi said so. So there is no question of other things. And this government, under the Home Ministry and CM Mr. Devendra Fadnavis, they are going to handle this with iron hand and action will be taken, culprits will be booked.
CS Jha, culprits will be booked, action will be taken. You yourself at the start of the show were saying that stringent action should be slapped, stringent sections should be slapped against all of these accused, and that's exactly what the state government is now trying to do. So now that the violence has happened, now that we've seen what has happened, will the opposition stand together with the government to ensure that justice is meted out to all those people who were at the receiving end yesterday?
Yes, we will stand. But eventually, if you see, this kind of build-up is not built within seconds or minutes or within hours. This build-up was built maybe around 2-3 days back. If this build-up has been built and this kind of scenario has been created, so in every aspect, if you see, there is a complete failure from the intelligence. The intel is complete failure. The government sitting there could not understand because it has happened in pockets. So if in pockets, if it is happening, so this build-up would have been 2-3 days back. And eventually this is a pre-planned thing. If the government is also saying why they could not stop the said riot or the said criminal activity, these are question marks, these are pertinent questions to them.
Raju Agmare, if it was pre-planned, like both the Deputy Chief Minister, your leader, Eknath Shinde, and the Chief Minister of the state have been saying, then what was the machinery in the state doing? How did they not see this coming? Why were they not better prepared? Especially since the VHP and the Bajrang Dal held protests in the afternoon yesterday. The violence broke out much later.
No, see, what you are saying, that is some percentage is right, that we couldn't able to understand that how this thing is happening so fast. There we have some problem. But the moment it started, we controlled the whole thing within 2 hours. The one thing I wanted to ask to our opposition people, they are talking about the state sponsor, this rights has been happened. I just wanted to ask them if the state sponsor, we got a complete majority mandate on this Maharashtra. Why we will do that? That is number one. Number two, we are taking Maharashtra on a progress. Why we will do that? Third, all those rights people, whatever they was doing, they was burning cars, they was going into the houses, they was throwing stones on the particular houses of Hindus. So if we are Mahayuti government, we are on a power, you say that we are Hindutvavadi, yes, we are Hindutvavadi, then why we will do this kind of things to our own car, our own people, and why we will do that? So opposition is trying to do and glorify Aurangzeb. What the Congress president has said that Mr. Devendra Fadnavis is the same kind of things what Aurangzeb did. Now this kind of supporting the moral issue to the people who love Aurangzeb or who want to create a nuisance into the Maharashtra, Congress is doing it. His president doesn't understand that what he is talking about, how he can talk like this. That what Aurangzeb, what he did to our Sambhaji Raje, that Mr. Fadnavis did to anybody or his family member of Mr. Sakpal. What is talking about? They don't have brain what to say and what not to say. These opposition people, the ally from the opposition, Mr. Abu Azmi, he started this kind of things. There was no issue of Aurangzeb was there. There was nothing was there. And Abu Azmi talked like this. After Abu Azmi, the Congress start talking about it. The Congress spokesperson start talking. Then Congress
but Raju Agmare, it was also the Chief Minister of the state, Mr. Devendra Fadnavis, who just last week did talk about there is a demand, there's a growing chorus of the tomb being removed, we'll look into it, there will be legal recourse, nobody will be allowed to glorify Aurangzeb. All these comments came in from the NDA side as well.
No. As a chief minister of Maharashtra, that is his duty. When so much noise are coming into the Maharashtra, they're talking about this, and Mr. Devendra Fadnavis also gave the proper explanation also that as a state, our responsibility to protect this tomb because it is a central act and we have to do that. He explained that also. So as a chief minister, as a uh, Mahayuti leader, he gave that explanation. At the same time, Mr. Eknath Shinde gave that explanation that we will not spare anybody who is going through this route. So we wanted to put complete peace in Maharashtra. We wanted to take Maharashtra on a progress path. But the opposition, they don't have anything in their hand right now. They don't have majority. They don't have anything to talk about because we are doing everything proper and nice. So now the only thing they require to create this kind of rift, and especially when Prime Minister Narendra Modi is coming as my colleague
Sure,
Mr.
but
Patel
if all
said,
was
that
well,
he's
then
coming.
yesterday when we had the VHP and the Bajrang Dal come out and say that there would be Babri-like action if this tomb is not removed, then that would be punished as well. That also could be seen as hate speech and they could be booked as well, but that's not something that we've seen. But Nikul Patel, as far as the Aurangzeb tomb is concerned, if there is a growing chorus in the state of Maharashtra to remove it, legally, ethically, go to the central government, go to the ASI, get it delisted, is that something that the Congress stands for?
See,
See, if that
definitely,
is the
if
case, if that
anything
is
has
the
to be brought
okay.
like
Nikul
that,
Patel.
then it has to be. Okay, sorry.
Go ahead, Nikul Patel.
Yeah. See, anything that is listed under this, our, that what you said,
Under
if
the
it has to be
ASI,
removed,
yes.
yeah, if it has to be removed, then definitely it has to start somewhere. Similarly, how Bharatiya Janata Party MLA started the talk in Legislative Assembly, how they glorify the entire event, how they materialize the entire event of Aurangzeb, putting that thought process into the mind of people, being the representative of the people. They want to mobilize people. Ah, this is not good. This has to be removed. You do it, then we'll be able to do it. On other hand, you are the representative of people. You must go and discuss with them and tell them, okay, we'll do the procedure. If really you are representative, then you must ask what your people are needing.
But
And
Nikul
if they
Patel, my
want it,
question
then
to
you
you
must
was
start
simple. Does
procedure.
the Congress stand
Just,
for the
just
Aurangzeb's tomb to be removed? Yes or no?
that has to be brought to the floor of the house. That is what
Sure,
I'm telling.
sure. And when it does, will the Congress support it?
That is what I'm telling you. It has to come to the floor of the house, and everyone will be discussing on it.
Okay,
Right? Then
sure.
definitely
So
nobody
CS
is
Jha, let me
supporting
ask you this. One of your
nobody
allies, the
is sup-
Samajwadi Party, says Aurangzeb is able administrator. The Congress won't take a stand to remove the tomb of Aurangzeb. Where does the Uddhav Sena stand on this?
who is supporting Aurangzeb? That I don't understand.
Sure.
Where anybody outside?
But
Nobody outside.
nobody from the Congress is also coming out and saying that if legally and ethically done, then we'll want the tomb removed because there's no reason to glorify a Mughal emperor whose history is known
So
to
if
have killed and tortured Marathas and destroyed
what will
multiple
happen?
temples.
I would like to know what will happen if the tomb is removed. Is the economy is going to grow of the country? If the schools are going to get benefited out of it, the health sector will going to
But
get
what has
benefit
one
out of
issue got to do with another?
it. Definitely, why not? That is what I am telling. That is what I want to ask Bharatiya Janata Party. What is this issue of? A long
It's
pending
it's a
गले
it's
मुर्दे उखाड़ के कूड़े
it's
के
a
उसमें से
long
खून ही
pending demand,
निकलने
like
वाला
you
है
just said. And
उसमें
if
से खून
people
ही
in the
निकलने
state
वाला है
want
अगर
that, then why not?
आपको
But
रिमूव
CS
करना
Jha,
है
let
कर
me
दो
ask
ना
you this: two of your
आपको
allies
रिमूव करना है कर दो ना
want
कौन
nothing
मना
to
कर
do
रहा है
with this
वैसे भी आप देश के
controversy. They
अंदर
won't
बहुत
take
सारे
a
कानून
stand. What about the Uddhav
जबरदस्ती ला
Sena?
रहे हो
See,
CS Jha.
the time the Samajwadi party leader spoke about Aurangzeb, in being in the opposition, each and every party we denied about such kind of association with the Samajwadi party leaders, and eventually we stood and spoke to the president of the Samajwadi party, eventually to cancel his membership and to remove from his presidentship in Maharashtra. And eventually, those actions have been taken or not been taken. That is up to the Samajwadi Party leadership. The second thing is that we don't glorify Aurangzeb or anybody else who are who have done cruel acts in India, and we never stood with such kind of kingship being done in the past, and we don't glorify any such things in India. And eventually, if the government wants to throw his mazar into any kind of ocean, let them be. But eventually we don't glorify about Aurangzeb and other things. And if the BJP wants to glorify the history and make certain kind of comments which are not in the history, let them make out a story, let them reach it to the public, and eventually that reaching to the public with those kind of nonsensical things into the public gives such kind of criminal acts rising in the Maharashtra, and the things will be awkward, and this government will have to be penalized for that, and let them understand these things.
Okay, Vishwas Pathak, so the onus really lies on the state government, which is the BJP-led NDA there. Will we see the state government begin this process of delisting the Mazar as an ASI protected monument? Because that's the only way it looks like that this entire controversy is going to die down.
See, if this tomb of Aurangzeb is to be removed from there, it should be removed. However, it is protected under ASI. So if it is to be done, it will be done legally. But again,
which is exactly what I asked you. Will the state government take that legal recourse and go to courts and get it delisted? Because the proof of the pudding is in eating it. So if there is the will, why not get it done?
So it will be done appropriately. There is no question of having any inclination for Aurangzeb's tomb. For some or other reason, it is protected under ASI, so it is protected. But if it is to be deprotected, de-recognized, action will be taken and proceedings will happen. So, but my question is that why one should have glorification for Aurangzeb?
Sure, if there's no space for glorification of Aurangzeb, there also is no space for the kind of violence that we saw in Nagpur yesterday, and the responsibility to ensure that is of the state government. How they do that and how they ensure we do not see a repeat of yesterday's, perhaps one way is to ensure the delisting of this particular monument, to nip this debate and lay it to rest right then and there. But will that happen? We'll keep asking those questions and of course keep our eyes out. But I have to thank you all gentlemen for joining us here on that note. It is time for a quick break on Plain Speak, but on the other side, we'll get you a controversy that's brewing down south. It's a BJP versus DMK fight, which is intensifying over Enforcement Directorate's fresh allegations in connection to the Tasmac liquor scam. We'll get you more details.